Hi there, lunatics. I know there are quite a few new faces watching, so thank you. And also, I should explain about the full moon. It was just an idea of doing things at a consistent point every time, and I've always liked the full moon, and it's very easy to know when I'm next going to be doing this because you just look up in the sky and there's the ad for it. We've been trying to finish off this record, and I always think things are going to be quicker than they are, but I've been quite demanding. John is now headed off to New Zealand to John Metcalf at his where his family are from, and he's having a well-earned break down there. And Dickie's been left carrying the project on his shoulders, but we've been going through lots of lessons and refinements. Consequently, I think it's actually going to be September rather than the May that we'd headed for originally in terms of release. Some of the people we've been talking to talking about setup time for a record and all that stuff, but I'm very excited with what we've got. I think it is an unusual sounding record. I think it'll be quite different in some ways, to scratch my back, even though there's obviously connections. And a lot of the arrangements for people who saw the tour are either those or developments of what we were playing in the second half of the show around my material. I know some of you are aware that we're doing the Hammersmith Apollo later on next month, the end of March, and the reason for just doing those two off gigs is that we had an offer to do some 3D filming, and I think there will be some version of it which is then available in cinemas or movie theatres. And I've always loved 3D. I think it was about 20 years ago, around the time of So, we actually did some, I think 3 numbers in 3D, which we're now desperately seeing if we can find that material, because I think we'd like to stick it on this next DVD as an extra. So anyone out there who remembers, I think it was in Las Vegas or LA that I did this filming, but anyway, you may hear more about that. But although I think there's a bit of a fad around 3D, I think we are moving towards more immersive experiences. And in the old days, we had this dream of a park, experience park we called it, which is actually where the name Real World came from. And I was working on it with Brian Eno and Laurie Anderson, and we were trying to get scientists and artists to work together to design experiences, immersive experiences. And I think all of that world is just with virtual worlds and with what's available from a technological point of view. It's, I think, about to hit us in all sorts of ways. And location-based entertainment and enhanced reality, where you take real situations and then layer stuff up online and in virtual environments. I think it's an amazingly exciting area, but I want to get a lot more involved in. But anyway, just to say really that this is a first toe in the water in this 3D world, and I think once people have got used to having things jump out at them, they'll get on with just the sense of seeing things in a 3D environment as we do in real life. Much the same way that when stereo was invented, they had trains going from left speaker to right speaker. That's still a bit where we are in 3D at the moment. But we've been working on some ideas with Blue and Rob, who were heavily involved in the last tour. Blue, Rob with sort of lighting and working on some of the design for the accompanying visuals, and Blue was executing quite a lot of things in a very creative way, but he's also a director who has worked in 3D already. So we've asked him to take the helm. Looking forward to seeing some of you in Hammersmith. And I think, have been quite a few other requests for other gigs with the orchestra, so we're just looking at those too. Because by the end of the year, I think the whole orchestra thing will be put to bed. And there's some other ideas I'm already beginning to get excited about. Yeah, one of the things I meant to mention last time is that Manin, or Kyo Manin, is this wonderful Cambodian girl that my daughter is actually making a documentary film about. She was on the waste tips outside Phnom Penh in Cambodia, and had been effectively rescued by this wonderful center. It's a sort of school building and rescue place called the Center for Children's Happiness, which they put just nearby the waste tips. So some of the kids, many of whom were orphans and struggling to survive on the rubbish, found a good home, a good care, and a chance to get some education. They've started to set up a school there, which is really struggling for funding at the moment. And Manin is an amazing girl, but she's also trying to campaign hard to raise money for this school. So I just wanted to give it a plug. And if you go to petergabriel.com or my Facebook page, then the details are there if you want to help. It will be much appreciated. I also went to Davos again this year. This time I was mainly trying to get a charitable thing called the Toolbox Net off the ground, and that's a bit like an app store for social good. And the wonderful thing is there that the heads of a lot of telephone companies and some visionary university professors, amazing guys called Sandy Pentland at MIT and John Clippinger from Harvard. And they've done a lot of thinking in this area. And you can connect with these people and some of the bosses of the companies who are already doing a lot of amazing work with M Health and M Finance, which is where you can get all sorts of healthcare through your mobile phone. Some of it is diagnostic that can then be looked at by doctors in remote locations. With M Finance and some of the leaders are in Kenya and also India, where Sunil Bharti Mittal has this company Bharti Airtel, and they are, I think, they have something like 400 million subscribers there, and many of the people that they deal with don't have any means of saving money. They wouldn't be allowed a bank account, and they have no means of getting out of poverty. But the phone is being used a little bit like a bank, which is contentious to banks, but is in fact a fantastic and powerful social innovation. You know, in my lifetime, when there's political unrest, and you've seen people used to go for the Parliament building and for the army headquarters or the armory, then they go for the television station. And now, you know, in Egypt, in fact, you know, during one meeting, the boss of Vodafone was being called out to be and was asked to switch off the Vodafone in Egypt, and they had to try and work out the legality of whether they could or should, and so on. But it's the phone is the center of power today in lots of ways, and it's also the most powerful weapon for changing the world for those that want to. The end result was that a lot of interesting meetings there, and we made some good progress, and there was a lot of offers of support for the Toolbox Net. We've had a lot of help from the Witness team and Yvette, especially there, and Pam Omidyar from Humanity United is sort of funding the prototype and the scoping out of the project. So that's been exciting. Also met up with Bono there, who was doing a number of things, but there was Bill Gates on some of the vaccination projects, and but we also met Daniel Ek, who's the Spotify founder, and I'm involved with a competitor called We7, so we had a good discussion, and that was entertaining.
How'd your mother's voice get in the phone?
That's simple. That's funny. I don't know.
Anyway, I'm sure that's probably much too much on that, but it's one of the things that really fires me up. I did have an interview on Facebook too in Davos, but I was unfortunately, I think, half asleep at the time.
Hello?
I was also sent an advanced copy of Elbow's Let's Build a Rocket Boys, and that sounds like a fantastic record. It was very nice to connect with them again on the Scratch My Back project, and I think they're doing some amazing work. While we're on the subject of cool music, the Portico Quartet are about to head out on tour in the UK, and the wonderful John Leckie's just remixed their album with some bonus bits for you, so check that out. And the amazing Creole Choir have their own documentary slot on Sky Arts this Sunday, and that's been getting extraordinary reactions. It's very straightforward, soulful, passionate music, and I think we're all very proud to be working with them. There's another name which some of you may be very familiar with, but Aurelio Martinez is putting out a record with us too, and it's going to be at WOMAD, and that's also getting great reviews at the moment, so seems to be a nice buzz around the record label at the moment. Other than that, I'm about to meet up with my old collaborator Robert Lepage, who's in London for a show at the Barbican, and really looking forward to seeing that. And there's the Totem show with Cirque du Soleil that he was involved with as well, which I went with the family last week and really enjoyed that. I also wanted to thank everyone for getting involved and with the forums. I had a lot of birthday wishes, which thank you very much for. It's great to see all that stuff both on our site and on Facebook. And as we have been doing in some of these other full moons, we're going to finish with another little clip from the recordings that we're working on at the moment. And this one is San Jacinto. I hope to see you next month. Take care.
Sorry, Ben, say again?
41 and 42 seemed better that time.
Yes. Yeah. I would still like just one more, and this time, Richard, could you mark it up to maybe Poco MF? Exactly the right mood and crescendo 60 through to 62. It's brilliant.
Well done, everyone. Here we go.